It's just because she dyed her hair.
It's funny because back in 1978, I think it was.
Anybody else remember the 70s?
Oh, in 1978, I was -4.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
0.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friends are going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Captain's log. Now, space.
Oh.
The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Oh, hey, you're watching Dorkening. It is Wednesday. We have an awesome show scheduled for you today. And that was my friend RW. How's it going, bud?
Oh, God, the things you put me up to, and I love it, obviously. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Are those the laser discs behind
They
it?
are. You got Star Trek: The Motion Picture, The Wrath of Khan, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. But yes, the laser discs. Not that I can play them on anything, but we got all kinds of other goodies to show later as well.
Awesome. Steven.
Hello, everyone.
Brandon.
Hey.
Yo.
Hey, everybody.
Jeremy.
Hi.
We're a very high energy group.
Yes. Steven started off like really well there. He was just.
I know. I followed his lead. I'm like, well, anything more than that, and I'm just gonna seem like a maniac.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, show of hands or just yell or say anything.
Oh, sorry.
Who's the Star Trek fans of the group? Who considers themselves a Trekkie Trekker?
I wouldn't.
Well, it goes right.
Not that level.
I'm a fan, but
I'm
Well,
a fan.
Trek adjacent.
You enjoy Trek though.
Star Trek.
I am Trekish.
Yeah, I've watched many of the iteration, not all.
The only series that I've watched the entirety of is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And that was at the behest of a friend of mine, because he was like, dude, you got to check this show out. And I was like, yeah, but it's Star Trek, so I don't have time to watch 30 fucking years worth of television to catch up with what you want to show me. And he was like, you really don't need that for this. And I was like, all right. And he goes, listen, I'll watch it with you. So that way, if you do have any quick questions, you can just ask me and I'll explain it real quick. And I was like, okay. Turns out he didn't need to explain a whole lot, because I had seen, a decent amount of Next Generation growing up and smatterings of the original series. So, I sat down and holy shit, like I love Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Like I absolutely adore that series.
What's funny is a lot of people hated that one when it first came on. And
which suited me fine, because the fact that the one Star Trek show I loved was the one that most hardcore Star Trek fans hated. Hated.
Yeah. Well, that's what I know. I was annoyed by my childhood. Like I watched Next Generation with my dad, and then we started watching Deep Space Nine, and he hated it right off and stopped watching it. So obviously, I stopped watching it. So it was like, hey, Facebook user.
I grew up with my dad watching, the original, Star Trek, and I had the Viewmasters, which I still have or whatever. But then I didn't like the first season of The Next Generation. It wasn't until the third season that I got into it. But I ended up liking Deep Space Nine even more than The Next Generation.
I thought it was so cool with the wormhole thing. That blew my mind. And
So that's what threw me off from Deep Space Nine. So I started off with I want to say like Star Trek 2 or 3 or something like that. Then I found out they made the show and I got sucked in. Loved Next Generation. But then when it came to Deep Space Nine, I watched the first couple episodes and I'm like, they're on a space station. You can't explore strange new worlds in a space station.
But they had the wormhole.
I know, but the wormhole only went to one place,
But the wormhole.
I'm sorry. What was the planet that they were orbiting not fucking strange enough for you? But was the fact that he was somehow connected to an interdimensional race
there
not
were
enough?
Ferengis living on the space station.
Also, like the allegory for the Nazi occupation, like, dude, it's such a good show.
I mean,
Also,
all these
Jeffrey
races that
Combs,
shouldn't get along, like the Kardashians, not those, the other ones.
Jorans
and the Ferengi and stuff, and Odo, and They all had to, even though they didn't like each other, they were
like a place where they had to
just like us. We're all different. We have our own thing, but we're family. And like, if something went wrong with one person on that thing, the other person had their back, whether they should have had their back because of their differences in culture and stuff. They always looked out for each other, but they always played that like, but they were always there. And I just liked that interaction, especially with Quark and
oh my God,
Odo and Rom, Rom, I think. But it had two of the best episodes ever aired. More Trouble with Tribbles, where they went back to the original Enterprise. I mean, that's freaking genius. And then one called The Visitor, where Cisco gets stuck in some like wormhole freaking thing, or not wormhole, but this like time portal dimension thing. And Tony Todd plays Jake Sisko later on. And like, when I met Tony Todd at Super Mega Fest, I said, dude, your performance had me in tears. It's one of my favorite episodes. And he's like, thank you so much for saying so. I'm like, no, like it just was one of the best episodes. So, More Trouble with Tribbles and The Visitor, in my opinion, were two of the best. But then the one where they go down to that like homeless sector or whatever, and Cisco takes on the persona of this Gabriel Bell or whatever, that I forgot what that one was called, but I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Sammy's in the room.
How you doing, Sammy?
Hi, Sammy.
Did anybody enjoy? I enjoyed Voyager. Did any of you?
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen any of Voyager.
Yeah,
is that the what's his name?
No,
Hercules. series?
That's
Andromeda.
Kate Mulgrew is the captain, and their ship gets like blown like 4 billion warp cycles away or something like that. But yeah.
Yep, skip that one.
And technically,
the show with Kevin Sorbo in it was Andromeda.
Skip that one too.
Yeah, Chakotay was actually a prisoner or something, wasn't he? And then he had to become a crew member because they needed him or something. If I remember right, I never got into it or Enterprise.
Yeah, they make a reference to Voyager on Discovery. This most recent series, like Voyager J or something like that, is in a docking station.
Oh,
yeah.
If John were here tonight, he would tell you that he absolutely loved the animated series. So we definitely got a shout out to that. But what's funny is, as we all know, the original Star Trek was 5-year mission, and they got canceled after 3. So the cartoon aired for 2 seasons, which was your other 2 of the 5 year missions or whatever. But they could do stuff on the cartoon that they couldn't do in the live action. So it's a lot of times overlooked that people don't
like breathe in space.
Yeah. Couldn't a lot of people forget to bring it up.
Is just out of all the other Star Treks, I like the original series out of all of them. So that just because.
What about the new animated series? Anybody watching that?
Lower Decks is friggin' hysterical.
Lower Decks is good,
Yes.
but I think there's a serious one though as well. I haven't watched.
Oh, that's right.
Prodigy.
Prodigy. Yeah, that's it. I'm like pointing at you. Yes, you, Leo.
Hey, is it your anniversary tonight, Steven?
Steven, what are you doing on here?
Yeah, what are you doing here, Steven?
Let's get it on.
I have a duty.
I've been really trying, baby.
Trying so hard.
Hold back this feeling for so
No,
long.
not that duty. I mean, it's a duty to be here on the show with you.
Like I feel, baby.
Come on.
Feel like I feel, sugar. Come on. Oh, come on.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
get it on.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is a great book.
Let's get it on.
I mean, it shows you all the different
what's
different
that?
incarnations of the different shows and designs and stuff. It's pretty wild. But
I was about to say, I hope they mention.
they're not the hell your whales.
Well, what have we here?
So speaking of 5-year mission, I'm very happy that Strange New Worlds is kicking off their 5-year mission.
Has it premiered?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm behind.
And the new episode drops tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sounds like RW, you enjoyed it?
And John called me the other day and he's like, dude, I loved it. He goes, and he has a son, Joseph, and he's like, he didn't really want to watch it, but I'm like, dude, you have to see this or whatever. And Joseph and I picked apart the same things. I mean, we loved it. I loved it overall. I can't speak for Joseph, but the only thing I really kind of had a problem with was the same thing that he did as well. But yeah, I thought it was a great episode. I think it's back to like what Star Trek was meant to be. And what's funny is there's a hint of dun, 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 in the theme, but it doesn't give credit to the person who originally wrote that theme. It says music by whoever this person was. And I was waiting to see, special thanks for stealing these notes from this other person, and it didn't say that. So,
they do that in Discovery too.
Yeah. Discovery definitely has a hint of the original series as well, and even
I love Discovery.
Same here. And
if you watch Strange New Worlds, you'll be like, what?
Well, it seems like they're definitely calling back to the original series. Obviously, Strange New Worlds, but Discovery.
It would make sense since it's Pike, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of cool in my mind that they're actually doing that, like going back. What if Pike kept on the ship and stuff? I think that's fucking phenomenal, like writing.
Well, this definitely. Well, they mentioned it in the first episode. This is like 10 years before the Cage.
Discovery.
The Cage.
Yeah. Well, not Discovery. So this takes place right after Discovery leaves.
Oh, so it is.
Is it? Hold on. So to get the most out of Strange New Worlds, would it be best to watch Discovery first?
You don't have to. The first,
That's a yes. All right.
There's
Enough
a
of
little
that
bit of
rigmarole.
Well,
they
not
don't have to, but they're
exactly.
gonna need to have a wiki open.
Pike's definitely in Discovery, so
You really just need
it's
to,
worth
like, if you
watching
had
a little
watched the 2-part The Cage original series, failed pilot
Let's
or
just
whatever.
say for fun, like just a thought experiment. Let's say I fucking hate the original series, just for fun, and I don't want to watch it at all.
I think it will explain itself along the way.
Okay. I'll probably still watch Discovery before I watch Strange New Worlds.
So Discovery is referenced, at least twice. So the main problem of the first episode is due to Discovery, and
So right off the bat, I'm lost. Got it.
Well, you're not really. You find out everything happened because of what happened.
First 7 minutes is nothing but references to the first 2 seasons of Discovery.
Well,
I don't know what anything is. Is a transporter still a transporter? I don't
If you
know.
get past the 7 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, I'm all caught up. I got it. All right.
Fucking 7 minutes,
It
5
hurts.
seconds in.
It hurts a lot.
I hear Seth faces the sun. I'm like, okay, it's still Star Trek. Thank God.
So I mean, the 2 references, Spock mentions missing his sister.
nice.
So
Hold on, wait.
Oh, Michael Byrne.
He can't find her, or like her absence.
She's now
has
in the
affected him
future, like
greatly.
20,000 years.
Yeah.
Or his aim is off. There's several different definitions of missing here, and I need them thoroughly explained.
Yeah, you're
like
definitely
what
gonna
you
have
mean.
to watch Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery. Well, so to get that reference, you should watch Discovery season 2.
Episodes 4, 7, 12, and 19.
Yeah. There you go, man.
But yeah, and the overall problem of the episode you find out was caused because of something that happened in Discovery.
Okay.
So,
So it seems like the long-winded answer to my question is yes.
Yes. So watch
Discovery.
Discovery season 2 is all you need to watch. And
of course, you'll be a little bit lost watching season
watch
2.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Listen, I mean, I actually have them set to watch. It's just I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to jump onto one thing if it's connected to something else. You know, I mean, I've seen enough of the Next Generation right up until the very end of the series to and then the movies, of course, to start watching Picard, and it's not an issue. I've seen the occasional episode of Voyager playing like in the background while I was stoned as a teenager to understand who 7 of 9 was. You dig?
Yep.
So
Do
to
you know
watch
who-
that show, not a problem. Do I know who?
Who Ernest Borgnine is, though.
Yeah, one of the sexiest men who ever lived.
Okay, so 7 of 9 and Ernest Borgnine. Basically,
Tiffy
what
says
happened
so.
was.
Tiffy says you'll enjoy Strange New
Shut
Worlds.
his screen off right now.
Oh yeah, if you watch Discovery first.
Yeah, Tiffy says you'd enjoy Strange New Worlds more if you see Discovery first. So yeah, watch.
Thank you, Tiffy. You would I wish you had been here 4.5 minutes ago.
Yeah, like we
The
wouldn't be
fucking line of
discussing
malarkey I get from these douchebags.
So
I don't know if you would necessarily. Okay, yeah, you should see it. It was a whole lot to get to that point. So thank you, Tiffy,
But
for
starting
coming to the crux of the matter.
season
I
Brandon,
appreciate it.
was that Kermit the Frog or Ray Romano?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Deborah. Oh, my wife is
So, Brandon, let me ask you. You said you watched Picard. What did you think of season 2? What did you think of?
I mean,
overall?
I liked it. It was a fun redux of Star Trek First Contact.
Contact. It's the different show. Never mind.
But I mean, I didn't mind it, and quite frankly, like I reached a point where I realized, my wife Dara and I were watching. I'm like, oh, now I get the very beginning of the season. That makes sense. And sure enough, that's exactly what the thing was. I actually don't mind it, and I like how they are shifting this particular. I don't want to say it like as a spoiler. This particular individual / this race, I like how they've shifted it, so it's kind of seen the logic behind not just being standard. That's the best way I can think of to say it without giving it away. To understand that creativity is actually like a benefit and not a hindrance, and the only way you get that is through people being themselves, for lack of a better term. So I'm actually really excited to see how that moves forward within the Star Trek universe, because quite frankly, to add depth to that makes those characters far more interesting than just point and shoot, if you get what I'm saying. Like, shouldn't just be getting to the final boss every fucking time you encounter these particular individuals. You know what I mean? Like, not every episode or movie that they show up should feel like fucking ghetto budget Metroid.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah. For anybody that's seen it and gets all those cultural references, good for you. You win the no prize for this week. I don't.
So I just want to back up for a second, and I was a little reluctant.
No, always forward. Jesus.
There are 4 lights.
There are 4 lights. What's the sauce?
So I was a little reluctant to say watch Discovery because I really enjoy Discovery, but a lot of people are very put off from the first season.
RW.
What?
Oh, nothing. Nothing.
What? Oh no, not you. No, different RW.
I hate it.
Well, no, so RW, I was saying a lot of people are put off by the first season of Discovery.
Right, but then he said RW, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, Jeremy was
wasn't put off
implying
by
that
it.
you were
I
one
just-
of the people
I
that
got-
does not like Discovery season 1.
I got 5.
Oh my god, I almost got the joke.
I got 5 episodes in. I just haven't gotten any farther yet.
Yeah, well, so
I thought we had talked about it before, and you hated it.
No, I didn't like.
Hey kids,
Voyager
remember,
so much.
marijuana affects the memory. Be careful out there.
So just Discovery, the first season, a lot of people can just skip it and go right to the second season, or just fast forward through the first season. It's very off-putting.
You're making the strongest case for
Well,
what?
no.
What are you doing?
Don't
First
watch
season's
any of the things they
great.
first put out.
If you're a fan of the original series, keep at it. It's very dark for a particular reason. And
I mean, I'm fine with dark and what have you. I mean, honestly, like, it's definitely something that I have on my list, and it was coming up next. Like my wife and I just finished the second season of Russian Doll tonight.
Oh, did you finish it?
No, I was just lying 5 seconds ago when I said
Very
that.
funny. So yeah, I haven't finished it. So I haven't finished it yet. I got like I don't know how many more episodes left or whatever, but yeah,
But
you see what I mean? How though
tonight.
the first season one thing, second season a completely different.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit that Gwen Stefani sings about, guys. BANANAS. All right, like it's bonkers, and that's not what that spells, by the way, in case anybody's
Does
illiterate
Luther
out
have
there.
both of those first 2 seasons back up?
I will for Discovery.
No, the show
Russian
they're
Doll?
speaking about
Russian
now.
Doll?
Yeah. Oh, it's only got one.
The second season just came out like a couple of weeks ago.
What channel is it on?
Netflix.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really good. But all I was getting at is we just finished it tonight, so
that opens you up to watch something else.
Exactly, yeah, because we'll only do one at a time. Like I have ADHD, so if I try to split too much between
Tracy and I are watching like 6 shows at once, and we'll watch this episode, then this episode, then that episode, and I'm like, okay, we got too many things, so we nailed 2 of them off. Now we're down to 2, and once we finish those, then I'm like, let's watch something
That must
and
be
not do
nice
this.
to have.
It
ready
does.
to
It gets
watch.
a little wonky.
Like,
But
I'm
yeah, so
sitting
now
there
that you say that we can fast forward through Discovery, tomorrow I'm going to say, hey, Tracy, you want to watch the first season of Discovery tonight? And she'll be like, how are we going to watch the first season? I'll be, check it out.
Well, I don't think it's that you can fast forward it with the sound on. That would be something.
So I'm gonna take back what I said. RW, do not fast forward during the show, because being a fan of the original series, I think you will watch the first season and go, holy fuck, this is awesome.
like I said, I think
But everybody who's not a fan of the original series, go fuck yourselves. You can fast forward to your heart's delight.
The button's right there.
I think I'm on on episode 6 of the first season or whatever. So yeah.
Okay, so
but again, like we were watching 18 different things, so.
So back to Strange New Worlds.
Yes, let's get back there.
So Steven, you said there was one thing in particular that threw you off, and then you absolutely hated it.
I did,
hated
but
it.
I'm not gonna say here.
Okay.
You guys can listen to our new episode, which comes out on Monday, where I rant about it and other.
Look at that shameless
the fuck I want.
Steven,
you know what? I'm going to listen to your show and I'm going to watch season 1.
No,
how do you like them apples?
Okay, so
fucking everybody telling me what I should and should not watch and listen to.
Go ahead, Steve. It's your opinion. You know, no one's going to attack you and freak out.
No, I know.
Maybe the same thing about me.
No, but what he's saying is, if you want to fucking hear it, you tune in to Super.
Yeah, I know what he's saying.
He doesn't give that shit away for free.
Not giving this shit away for free.
I'll give you guys a taste. Basically, what happened in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, what threw me off was RW and Leo probably know what I'm talking about. When they're going through their briefing and they see like the world events, there's one world event that they see, and I was like they had to go there. Like, really, they had to go there. They
actually they did. If you know your Star Trek history.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Okay, now I'm confused as to what.
Yeah, talking about when they stole the whales in part 4.
No. It had nothing to do with past Star Trek history.
So he's talking about the reference to our current time and the Civil War. You know.
No, they showed civil. I'm talking about when they showed the insurrection. Which
that's exactly what I thought you were going to say. I could not believe they were able to even show that, but I was like, whoa, like, yeah.
If you so according to Star Trek history,
go ahead, Brandon.
No.
I see Brandon like puckering up, ready to.
What the fuck is wrong with all of you? I literally just said I haven't seen any of this shit. We got Mr. fucking Spoiler Banner up in the left-hand corner of my screen, fucking literally dropping the word Civil War casually in the middle of a conversation.
No.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, hey, I can't wait till I see this. Oh, do I need to see it now?
Thank you. No, it's just that one scene. It was kind of a little tasteless, but I enjoyed what they were doing. But they didn't have to go there, mentioning that. They could have mentioned everything else, but they didn't have to. RW agrees with me. Thank you.
But I think what Leo's trying to say is in past, like, original series lore, they showed stuff like stuff like that or whatever.
No, actually, going by the Star Trek timeline, we should be at the time where the third nuclear war
in reality in the Star Trek series would be.
God damn it, Leo! Stop predicting the future.
and then the eugenics war, which brings Khan. Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on the ending of season 2 of Picard, because that threw me off the loop.
But the thing that got me.
Well, hold on one second.
Yep,
so Brandon, that talking about like Civil War and stuff, that has nothing to do with the episode. That was just, like
what is it good for?
Well, I mean,
absolutely nothing.
The Star Trek timeline. It looks a little something like this, gang. Right there is where it starts. It's kind of like, oh, here, and then you go, oh, look, and then here comes Picard, and we're just going all the way in. Oh no, wait, First Contact. Up right here is Discovery and Strange New Worlds. It makes no fucking sense, gang. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
just strap in and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. And again, since Brandon hasn't seen it, and who knows, people watching may not have seen it, I had my issues mainly lied with the design of the ship. I loved the way the outside looked, but I think they overdid the inside just a little bit. But I do like the way that they paid tribute to the original series in some of that design. But then some of it was like, okay, you kind of blew this a little too far out of proportion. But that was my only thing, was they didn't reel it in. They wanted to give you today's technology as if this show had happened, like if the original series had happened today. But that was the only problem I had, really. But I just thought it was well done, and the story was good. And obviously it's a rehash of some stuff we've already seen, sort of like, The Force Awakens was a rehash of A New Hope or whatever. So that's the only other problem, is it's like they started out with a storyline that you already have seen a couple of times, whether it be from an original episode or one of the movies. And they kind of took this and this and this and went, throw it in the blender. Okay, so we'll take this piece of this and that piece of that and this piece of this and this piece of that, and we'll make a movie around that. And that was the only other thing.
You literally just described Star Wars: A New Hope.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly what George Lucas did.
Yeah. So, but
There's nothing new under the sun.
I thought, as much as the guy playing Pike, whose name I always forget, Mount something.
Anson Mount.
Anson Mount. I think he was a little bit Shatner and a little bit the guy
Rock and Fuck. God damn it.
Vic
Beat me to it.
Vic, whose last name I can never pronounce. I think he was like a mishmash of those two guys. He wasn't playing, Kirk. He wasn't playing it like Mr. Spock, but when he got out of a chair and when he walked, it was very Shatner-esque. The way
he's
he
shirtless for at least 7 minutes in every episode.
Yeah.
RW, without spoiling anything, what did you think about the fake out?
Oh, sorry?
What did you think about the fake out?
The fake out. Okay, I'm going to have to run that thing and try to figure out what the fake out was. But, yeah.
Say you liked it. Just say you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, the fake out.
It really got me. I was like, wow, this is gonna happen, and then they did that, and I was like, oh man, this happened instead. Crazy.
It's
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, it's hard to say because I don't want to spoil it for Brandon,
Right. No.
Are you fucking sure?
That's why I was trying not to spoil it either. I just want to mention that one thing that
I know Steve put forth the Herculean effort, and we got fucking Rolodex of random facts over here. Leo Pond himself. RW. Well, now I know that like I should be disappointed because the fucking sliding doors aren't made of balsa wood.
No, they're using pine now.
It's Chris Pine?
Chris Pinewood. Yeah, exactly.
Waka waka waka.
Oh, love it. So just real quick, the eugenics wars should have taken place between 92 and 96, according to Star Trek lore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Explain that one to us
So
Trekkies.
So we're slacking at the moment.
The eugenic wars was
eugenics. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the thing that results in Khan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Where they try to make
have you watched Picard?
Not all the way through. I'm up to like episode 5 or 6.
Okay, well, Sung, the guy that Brent
made
Spiner
Data
playing. Yeah, Brent Spiner. He is an important figure in the eugenics wars. I'll put it that way. Like his presence in Picard season 2 should be a big old like red flag for anybody that's aware of the eugenics wars. There's still characters even in the far future, like past Khan, that are results of the eugenics wars and all the experiments that went on from it. One of the main characters, Dr. Bashir from Deep Space Nine, he actually is a Superman, and he hid his genetic legacy in order to become a doctor in the Federation because all he wanted to do was be a doctor to help people. And if they knew that he had those capabilities, he would have been seen solely as a weapon and barred from ever being able to join them. What was that, Leo?
Is he in Picard? Bashir?
No. No. But funny enough, like I walked out of the room for a split second and came in, and this isn't a spoiler. James Callis from Battlestar Galactica does show up, and he's got a beard in it. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw him, and I fucking thought it was Alexander Siddig for a split second. And I was like, "What the fuck? Oh, wait, what? Hold on, wait a minute, Gaius Baltar is in this? What kind of crossover shit is happening right now?"
Yeah, Alexander Siddig and what the person you just said, and then there's a guy who was in American Gods. They all look so similar, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Alexander Siddig, and then I'm like, oh no, it's the guy from Battlestar Galactica, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's not either of them. So it's like so trippy.
I'm telling you, James Callis back like 10, 15 years ago, after Hugh Jackman had been playing Wolverine for several years, he was like my number one pick for Wolverine for a long time. Like he would have been fucking great. But that's neither here nor there. He's definitely way too old now.
after
he's an excellent actor.
After Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, I thought they were going to do a movie based on Khan's daughter, and we never got to see that, and I was like bummed. Shaka.
Yeah, I saw it coming.
I love it.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah. The eugenics war were a big deal. I mean, even in Star Trek Into Darkness with Benedict Cumberbatch playing essentially, eventually it turns out that he was Khan. That's supposed to be the whole shebang starting off. And they really haven't ever delved too hard into it. Like it's just something that we've ever heard about. Like we know academically.
If you're a reader, Star Trek, one of the Star Trek.
I've never done it before. I'm not going to start now.
They have
these books are just to look at.
They had a trilogy of books about the eugenics wars, and well, actually, it was 2 books, but the third book was about what took place between Space Seed and Wrath of Khan, which I thought was fantastic, and how Khan's exile and all that stuff. But if you can find these 3 books, definitely, if you're not well versed in eugenics wars, it's definitely worth checking out.
Does one of those books show?
I can also give you the link to a Wikipedia page that will take a fraction of the time.
Yeah, that too.
Does one of those books have like a time travel story where Chekhov actually went back in time so he could be on the ship when fucking Khan was there?
No.
because Chekhov didn't come in until season 2, and Space Seed was season 1, and Chekhov wasn't even on the fucking show. And he goes, "I never forget the face, Mr. Chekhov." I was never there. Like, I don't know how you can forget my face. I wasn't even fucking on the ship yet.
Khan's the fucking best, man.
Well, they can retcon it now with Strange New Worlds, you know?
Yeah, they can figure it out. But I know I give you shit because I always bring up, the 70s and 80s were the greatest time to be alive. And you're like, shut up with the 70s. But we had
we know like for a fact it wasn't, but.
So we had cool shit like this. You know, like the movie would come out and then you get a photo story of, you know, the motion picture or whatever. And then they would do the comic adaptation of, you know, Star Trek, the motion picture. And then these things became so expensive to do when they did Wrath of Khan. They're like, fuck this color shit. We're going to do the whole thing in black and white. So like the Star Trek 2 one got a black and white one.
Oh, in glorious monochrome.
Yeah.
Well, you know, back then you really had to wait until it either came on TV or something like that to rewatch it. You know, it's just
tell me the fucking 70s and 80s were the best.
Dan Matson, here's, like I said, here's this is a piece of the action. So they made 12 of them, and last time I didn't have them readily available, but here they all are, all 12 photo novels that the original series put out or whatever, you know? And like I said, as a kid growing up, when you couldn't watch the show, you'd, you know, pull out all our yesterdays, and you would literally, it was almost like watching a show because, you know, it's full color photos with what the people are saying, and it would be like, you could almost hear the show because if you had seen it once, you kind of knew.
Well, even if you didn't see it, so
definitely makes the case for doing drugs. I will say that.
Yes.
So back in the day, I wanted to see.
Weed wasn't as strong back then, so you could smoke a full fucking joint and sail through that shit.
They were like buying like 4 fingers for $10.
Oh yeah, they may as well have been smoking fucking shoelaces back then. I mean.
So back in the day, I wanted to see Empire Strikes Back, but I think my mom thought it was too scary or something like that. So
I can see that.
Yeah,
maybe for mere mortals.
But I remember wanting to see that movie so bad. I watched the commercials. You see the meteor creature come out and try to catch the Millennium Falcon. But anyway, my parents bought me one of those picture books of Empire Strikes Back. And I friggin' memorized the damn thing. I was like reading it every day because I missed the movie, but you know, you got to relive it until you know, VCRs were invented.
Yeah, so I had the you know,
and hopefully you backed the right horse and went without Betamax because what a fucking nightmare.
Actually, my brother was
Betamax was far superior. Just saying.
Oh, I know, but I'm talking about the right horse socially. I mean, that's like Blu-ray and HD DVD. HD DVD was superior quality. How many people ended up getting an HD DVD though? So okay, no one. Fantastic.
Yeah, I had the comic adaptation of Empire Strikes Back in paperback form. And again, not to Debbie Downer it, but that day that I was bullied and never went to school again, and this bully like pushed me around and threw all my shit, I had the Empire Strikes Back book in my hand when I got shoved, and it went across the pavement. And when I finally went to pick up all my stuff, you know, the freaking cover's all like road rashed and shit. I still have it or whatever, but like every time I see the Empire Strikes Back book, I'm like, yeah, I remember that day. Like, I'm never gonna forget it. But
what's his name? RW. Let's get him.
No, he's you know, whatever. But then the other thing that was cool in the 70s before the internet, and we've talked about this a few times before, is Starlog magazine. And the first ever episode was literally, you know, Star Trek. And according to Champney, originally, I think this was supposed to be more about Star Trek than anything else. And then they realized we can't just survive on Star Trek. So then it became other things. Actually, that's pretty funny because here's Captain Pike right here with Mr. Spock from The Cage or the original pilot or whatever. So, you know, when you're a kid growing up, this was your YouTube, your internet, your Google, you know, and looks like Planet of the Apes is on the other page, maybe. No, that's still Star Trek. But yeah, I mean, I have a
you
run
make
of.
it sound like the magazine is 2 pages. I think it's
No,
it's
it's not.
The other page.
Did anybody else read Starlog?
No.
I mean,
No.
I certainly
wasn't able to
gone through it in
read
the
at that
past.
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Star Trek in color.
Well,
yeah, thanks for telling me.
It was still on the rack in the 90s. I remember Starlog.
I used to see it in my local comic book store all the time, but I also just I didn't care.
When in the 90s, I was more superhero than sci-fi.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, see in the 90s, I was more sci-fi. I was going to Star Trek conventions and geeking out, and yeah.
I've never been to a Star Trek convention.
No.
I don't know enough about Star Trek to comfortably
I would
walk
be
into one.
way out of my league.
Yeah, I would be so out of my depth. It would be a learning experience for me for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Issue 2 is, all about Space 1999, but then you got this little thing that says, Star Trek, the movie or whatever. And then
the Star Trek movie.
SRW, huh?
And then they're like, hey, let's get Star Trek back on the cover. And oh, yeah, I have that as well. The Battlestar Galactica. But yeah. So, this was big when I was a kid,
Felix Stanley in full Marvel color.
Yeah.
Hey there, true believer.
So, Strange New Worlds, definitely check it out. Yo-Yo, you saw a movie.
Yes, I did.
So is this?
I know, right?
When's the last time you saw a movie in the theater?
Oh, in the theater. That's impressive.
It's been a bit.
So what did you go see?
I saw Doctor Strange. Specifically, so we can have a conversation. And
I saw a re-release of Casablanca. They were playing it at the Brattle Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was delightful. Original 35mm print. They just don't make movies like that anymore. But yes, I was so glad I braved coronavirus for the first time in over 2 years to finally rewatch Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart. Oh, what a delight. What did you fellows do? Sorry.
Apparently,
so when is that happening? Because I want to see that.
They play it there all the time. Actually, they really do.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
So, what did you think of Doctor Strange, Yo-Yo?
Oh, I want other people. I want a lively conversation here. I actually saw the movie. So
wonderful. I would love to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm not going to go first, though.
Do we want to go spoilers?
Oh,
as well.
Yo-Yo.
Yeah. Jeremy.
Oh, I've watched the Pluther.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So Yo-Yo,
it's been out a week tomorrow, counting previews on Thursday nights. I don't know, 6 days.
Do we want to do?
Yeah, listen, if we want to talk about spoilers, we put up the spoiler banner while we're doing it.
I mean, I had a 1979 Z28 with a spoiler.
Yeah.
That's definitely the same thing that we're talking about. So you zeroed right in on the conversation per the usual.
How about Yo-Yo? You decide how deep we go.
As deep as we can.
As deep as we can.
Oh.
That's what she said.
There we go.
Spoilers. It's like a train. The spoiler train.
Spider-Man.
I got it. Hey there, true believer. We're gonna spoil the shit out of this for you.
Kick us off, Yo-Yo.
Well, I don't know where to start. Where do you guys want to start? That's the tough part.
Probably at the beginning.
Well,
since
it's segueing with Strange New Worlds, speaking of Anson Mount.
Speaking of Strange New Worlds that include Anson Mount, how crazy was it that he was Black Bolt again in the MCU after having played him in the lackluster Inhumans miniseries?
Wait, he was Black Bolt?
Yes, he was.
What the fuck, Leo? Jesus. Yes, Black Bolt was played by Anson Mount in the Inhumans ABC miniseries.
Yeah.
So they brought him back to play a much more comic accurate looking, at the very least, Black Bolt. I did not watch the Inhumans miniseries because I knew that it was coming out, and then I just decided to keep on living my life.
Yes.
And it worked out
I
for me,
briefly
especially.
saw the first episode and was like, okay, I'm done. Because
Yeah,
I like the Inhumans and I want to continue liking the Inhumans. So I can't do that to myself.
Good choice.
Yeah. I will say, so yes, Anson Mount shows up as part of the Illuminati as a more comic accurate Black Bolt. Clearly not the same Black Bolt from the Inhumans miniseries. Then we also had Lashana Lynch playing Maria Rambeau, who the mother of Monica, and she clearly became Captain Marvel instead of Carol Danvers, and she is part of the Illuminati. It also contains Baron Carl. What was it? Baron Carl von Mordo or whatever. To like Stephen Strange reaction. Carl? Like that really is his name in the comics. That's the craziest part.
Yep.
And he, True to Legend first comes back to play him, and he's actually kind of a much cooler version of Mordo. Then of course it has Professor X as played by Patrick Stewart in the yellow floating chair from the 90s cartoon. And they play the animated series theme when he floats onto the Illuminati prison area. And then there's also Captain Carter, who is Peggy Carter, having taken the super serum and becoming the Sentinel of Liberty instead of Steve Rogers. And last, and certainly as far as I'm fucking concerned, least, John Krasinski showed up as Reed Richards. In a
not a fan.
More, I mean, I like John Krasinski. I just don't like the idea of him as Reed Richards for the MCU.
It felt weird.
It was weird. It was full fucking fan service. It was.
I mean, a lot of that was fan service.
Brandon, I have to agree with you because when we were at Sarge's and we were talking about this, we were kind of hinting at it. And I saw it the next day, a second time. I agree with you. It was totally fan service for them bringing Krasinski in.
Yeah, and I think they did it to be like, hey, see, we gave you John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and that was a variant. Now let's look at who Reed Richards is in the MCU. A big part of it, and I know this might sound kind of jerky or whatever, but I don't think that they're going to cast for a long stretch, no pun intended. I'm seriously not trying to make a pun. But for a long stretch of time, somebody as old as John Krasinski as Reed Richards. And I never want to fucking see Emily Blunt as Susan Storm, ever. I don't mind Emily Blunt, but she is not Susan Storm. Not by a fucking country mile.
Franklin Richards. I think.
Okay, wait, hold on. I know how to play this game. Valeria Richards.
I think he would be better as Franklin Richards, like an older version
of Reed Richards' son, who's much younger than him. Did I fucking? Is there something in my coffee?
You don't remember the fact that he does travel through time?
Yeah. No, I get that, but like, why have John Krasinski show up as Franklin Richards, especially considering they haven't even established?
No,
they would need to really establish the Fantastic Four to get to that point. I think that would muddle things, especially considering they're already kind of doing that with the multiverse.
It was strange to me that Strange was knew who Richards was and was like, hey, from the 60s, blah blah blah. So it's kind of confusing there.
They did a joke.
I think I thought that was more of a joke because like they call themselves the Fantastic Four because he's gonna remember from the first Doctor Strange movie, he's a big music nerd, like he's able to name and he's into like the 60s stuff especially. And when he says like the Fantastic Four, you guys sounded like you charted in the 60s. That's sort of like the Fab Four kind of deal.
All right, maybe
I think he was just making a smart ass comment.
Going on. Okay.
No, they had they did establish it in the end of Discovery season 2. I think it was like episode.
But the thing is, like John Krasinski, I don't know. He was in it as Reed Richards. I think he was there much like Patrick Stewart was. To say, hey, look, we gave you these people that you wanted as these characters in the MCU for at least a brief amount of time, and now we can move on to what it is we actually want to do. Personally, like I have actors that I would very much like to see take on the role of Reed Richards.
Ryan Reynolds.
No, not. Why would he? He's gonna play Deadpool. That would be insanely dumb.
Adam Sandler.
So stop trying to guess because no.
The correct question, RW, would be, Brandon, who would you like to see?
Yeah, I know.
Well, personally, I mean, I wanted to skew younger, so they have a good amount of time to establish themselves and do like what they've done with Guardians of the Galaxy, especially because it should be closer in tone to those kinds of movies as the Fantastic Four than some of the other like more action-packed slam bang stuff that we've seen. Because it should be fantastical and cosmic and feel like a family unit. I personally would like to see either Lakeith Stanfield take over as Reed Richards from Atlanta, or Sorry to Bother You, Get Out, or Knives Out. He's excellent in everything he's in.
Now, sorry, what's his name?
Lakeith Stanfield. And then if not him, and this is just full on like fanboying, like I would ideally, like after everything I've seen of him so far, and that's one show but 4 seasons, William Jackson Harper from The Good Place. I would love to see that guy play Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. Which, it kind of sucks to say that because one of my top picks for Susan Storm for a very long time was Kristen Bell. And she, of course, plays against him in The Good Place as Eleanor.
That would be,
but also that would be. But I also think that as pretty and cute and talented as Kristen Bell is, she is also just a little too old to be able to be in that franchise for like 10 years because she's like 41 this year. That's a bit much, especially if you're trying to establish them as like a young burgeoning like super team. You know what I mean? So I think you have to skew closer to 30 than 40. And that's part of the reason why I'm going with those two guys for Reed Richards. I'm not quite sure who you could do for the other ones. I would say maybe Zac Efron or maybe even more likely Dacre Montgomery to play Johnny Storm. Dacre Montgomery played Billy in Stranger Things. He also played Jason in the Power Rangers movie that came out just a couple years ago, the Red Ranger. I think they would be good choices. Zac Efron is a Disney kid, so who knows, maybe, but his price tag may be a little too hefty at this point. Ben Grimm, that's a real tough one, honestly. At this point, I mean, you could focus on somebody who's a little older because that way they could be like the type that was like looking after Reed and kind of keeping an eye on him when he was a bit younger and what have you, and they built that friendship over time. I would say give him blue contacts and have Jason Segel play Ben Grimm because then he'd do motion capture and voice work for the rest of the movie after he changes.
So
I don't know who you'd pick as Sue Storm though.
My problem always is, and I'm going to try to be a lot better about this, is I'm stuck in the 70s reading 70s comics, and I don't know about any of these updates in the comic world. But the Reed Richards I knew from the 70s had like black hair with graying on the side. So he was an older guy. He wasn't a younger
Eventually.
guy. So have they changed the Fantastic Four universe like they have with, Nick Fury and all the other stuff? So my problem is I'm like, wait, this guy, Reed Richards was an older guy with graying sides on the hair. Have they changed that? And if they,
well, he was never
know that.
He was never older. He just had graying hair at his temples. I mean, I've had hair this white on my chin.
Right, but I'm saying when they drew him, he looked like he was, 50 years old or whatever.
No, he looked like he had graying temples because otherwise he was in phenomenal shape, like every other superhero in a comic book.
Okay, all right. Again,
but yeah, they still show him with like a little bit of graying around his temples. He has a beard now, but he still doesn't look like older. I mean, he's married and has 2 13-year-old kids, or a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. So I mean, they're not. He and Sue are not that old. but over the years, yeah.
Because it's funny. I was looking one up too. This guy doesn't look like he's 20 years old with graying hair. He looks like he's, 50 years old.
Yeah, I didn't say he looked like he was 20 years old with graying hair.
No,
I
I'm just saying,
like
though,
a father
that
of
guy
a
looks like
15-year-old and a 13-year-old.
That lady right there looks like Barbara Bain from, Space 19. That's my problem.
But
the way
once
I
again,
and
that has no bearing on who the character is. You know what I mean? You cannot have the graying temples and still have it be Reed Richards. I mean, not for nothing, they did do that in the Fantastic Four movies that came out with Fox, the first two, and it looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that dude. He's fucking jacked under that thing too. What the hell?
Well,
but yeah.
So I thought he was older from cartoons and everything, and choose to ship that, and can see not using Krasinski, but he should be older. I don't want them to go super young like they did with like the second movie.
I stick with my Krasinski would be perfect Franklin Richard.
What was that, Yo-Yo?
Krasinski would be a perfect Franklin Richard. Sorry, like from all like image movies seen in the comics, like.
Yeah, they definitely started drawing the comics like him.
Now we're talking about. Sorry, we're talking about casting rumors for the Fantastic Four, the heroes, but I heard one, and this is a dream for me. Like if they cast Doctor Doom, and this was something I read, and I hope it happens. But if not, this was my fan casting. Giancarlo Esposito as Doctor Doom.
Way too old. Way too old to play Doctor
I
Doom.
wanted your analysis. Would he be way too old? Because I'm
Way
not
too old. Yeah, as it is right now, like he's in Better Call Saul playing the younger version of Gus Fring. And I was watching it the other night and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, there is such a stark difference in how young he looks in a show that's supposed to take place in the future and how old he looks now in a show that takes place in the past. And that's not a knock on Giancarlo Esposito. He just looks his age. And that's far too old to play Victor Von Doom. I think you're probably more likely to see somebody like Alexander Skarsgård play Victor Von Doom.
I could see that.
Like a large Scandinavian dude who has that European background, has the right affectation of his accent that he could use for it. And also, I mean, has a connection to the MCU anyway because of his own father being in the Thor movies as Dr. Selvig. His dad's Stellan Skarsgård.
So moving back to Doctor Strange, they mentioned Wundagore, and they travel to it at the end, right?
Wungador?
Yeah.
Oh my! I always fucking do that. Stupid mountain.
Yeah.
No. It's one. I think it's Wundagore. Wundagore Mountain. Wundagore.
Wundagore. And was that Bova we saw? There was a cow or bull like creature.
Oh yes.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the magic, the mystics place.
No, I try to remember the character's name. It's from. I'm gonna not remember it, unfortunately. But no, it is from he is from Doctor Strange, like comics, but I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now.
I wanted to ask you guys' opinion.
Rintra is that character's name that was in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Gotcha.
Do you guys think this was more MCU focused or more horror focused?
What do you mean?
I mean,
like
there's definitely some like body horror, like her coming out of the mirror. Like,
I enjoyed the eye, like.
Oh, because it's the Sam Raimi.
Oh, definitely.
your opinion if it was more a Marvel movie or a horror movie?
Above all, is
I would
definitely
say
a
it's both.
Marvel movie. Yeah, both.
Like mostly a Marvel movie though. Like you had like again her coming out of the mirror, like things like that. But for the most part,
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything actually scared me or felt enough horror-ish where I'm like, oh.
Well, there was definitely.
Listen, this fucking movie should have been called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, parenthetical, wink, wink, Evil Dead 4, close parentheses. All right. I was saying a little bit of this on Saturday, but like, I love Sam Raimi, but like, I didn't see a whole lot of stretching going on with the creation of this movie. And I couldn't help but notice a lot of similar beats between Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the Evil Dead story. Oh, an arrogant know-it-all who gets through by the skin of his teeth and just a little bit of luck combined with skill, wears a blue shirt, mouths off at anybody that even remotely comes up against him, and then he has to find a book and either use it to save everyone or it's going to destroy everyone. Oh, plus we got to see Bruce Campbell's hand beating the shit out of him.
Also, you get to see
I just fucking described Evil Dead.
And
but that was Doctor Strange.
But you get to see the same camera angles too from Evil Dead. And
yeah. The evil is the point of view of the camera. Yeah. I'm surprised, honest to God, I am so surprised we didn't see anybody go from a straight flat position to all of a sudden floating in the middle of the screen where they clearly have a rig on their back and just start going like, I'll swallow your soul or some bullshit like that. Or like Wanda starts screaming at America like, I'll swallow all your power. Like, okay, we get it. We get it. If I fucking hear anybody say Kandar, I'm out of here.
So Wanda broke the fourth wall at one point.
Yes, she did.
She did look at the camera.
I haven't been so impressed by Wanda since 2014 or whatever when Civil War came out. Like, holy crap, Wanda is an amazing character. Like,
yeah,
Black Bolt deserved everything he got.
Yeah, I don't like the Inhumans or anything at all. So when his mouth just sealed up and he's like, boom, blew on his own fucking skull, I was like, yes, that is right. You know what? Fuck him. Fuck everyone who looks like him. Fuck everyone on Adeline on the blue side of the moon. I don't give a flying fuck. The Inhumans can choke on the Terrigen Mist for all I care. Oh, it's too thick. Look at that. I guess you developed the ability to not be able to fucking breathe in smoke. Good job, stupid.
The most ruthless, though, was Reed Richards' head, that pop at the end. Oh, my God, that was rough.
No, the most ruthless.
I loved every second of it. I was like, good, die, stay out of these fucking movies.
The most ruthless for me, and my co-host can attest to this, was Captain Britain getting decapitated.
Captain Carter. Captain Carter. Captain Britain's a very different character.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
be Captain Britain.
That's gonna be that's the thing I'm waiting for to come out of the multiverse shit.
Yeah,
is Captain Britain, because that ties in directly to the multiverse. And considering that they're introducing the Black Knight and they're bringing Blade in, it looks like they're really gearing things towards the mystical side and mythological side with Moon Knight. I mean, Merlin and the Captain Britain Corps, bring it on. Fucking let's see it. I want it so bad.
Now, looking at the future so far, we have America Chavez, we have Kate Bishop, we have Yelena, we have what's her name? Well, anyway, do you think they're setting up Young Avengers with like these younger people that have been introduced so far? Like,
I mean, in a manner of speaking, sure.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, why not?
Like, that's a huge money grab.
Yeah.
Down the road, I mean, because they still have Ironheart coming up.
Oh yeah, they'll probably use this phase to introduce them all, and probably next phase you'll get a show.
She-Hulk and what have you.
Will Squirrel Girl be involved? That's what I want to know.
What's that?
I would assume Squirrel Girl's going to get an introduction.
Wasn't she already on like Runaways or something like that?
Was she?
Yeah, she was. She was.
Milana Vaintrub played her. Yeah, like the AT&T girl who Lily on the commercials. Yeah, she played Squirrel Girl. She's very talented and funny actress, and also just like adorable. But yeah, I never watched any of that shit on Hulu, but I remember seeing things on websites that I frequent for information. I was like, oh, good.
But
good
yeah,
for
it
them.
was something I noticed walking out of Doctor Strange a second time. I was noticing like after the movie concluded, I'm like, hey, we have all these younger characters, and we have something coming up next month with Miss Marvel. I'm like, they're possibly setting up Young Avengers, so that's like Jeremy said, it's a money grab. So
yeah, but I mean, how about I mean, you want to talk about stuff that they're setting up? Never mind like multiversal characters and Young Avengers. Fucking.
I know her.
How about the fact that Charlize Theron?
Oh yeah.
At the end of the fucking movie, showing up as Clea. That was way off my fucking radar.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was going to happen. When I saw it, I was like, what?
I also really enjoyed that they're naming the universes too. Like
Yes.
where not Carter, Strange's love interest there was just like, this is 824, you're from the 616. I'm like,
although that is gonna go up the ass of so many people, because the comics universe has always been known as 616.
Yep.
And formerly, like, the MCU was known as 1610. I don't know why I can tell you that off the top of my head. I just know it. And like, that's just gonna further muddy the waters when it comes to like clearly delineating between the two. Like, there's gonna be so many stupid fucking arguments that I see back and forth. I'm just gonna grab a bucket of popcorn. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch the whole thing, but it's still stupid.
I gotta check out your group, Brandon. It sounds a lot like my group, except for without the buying and selling and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you just trade a piece of your soul to get in, and you're golden. Yeah. It's like the Darkhold from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm a ginger. We don't have those.
Well, I have a question for everybody.
Every multiverse has one, though. But somewhere.
Were you disappointed that there weren't more cameos?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why would I be?
Yes.
Well, I got my Bruce Campbell one. That's all I wanted, honestly.
Oh, yeah. The name of the movie is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We saw him go into the multiverse. There was madness. How much of that do you need? I mean, got
I wanted
4
real
fucking
mutants.
cameos. How many more do you need before it honestly just ends up becoming a fucking shit show parade instead of an actual movie? I mean, it was barely a fucking movie as it was. So, I mean, why do that? It needs to have some kind of substance.
I thought, well, it definitely had substance. It was also a shorter movie too.
Yes.
But they should have.
Wasn't it like over 2 hours? It was like 2 hours and 6 minutes or something.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours and 6 minutes.
I felt like that one flew by.
Yeah. So, I mean, considering, it did what it needed to do. He went through the multiverse.
Oh,
it
definitely did what it needed to do, but it seemed like there could have been more.
I don't think so. I mean, he spent enough time in this alternate reality to really establish like the kinds of things that went on, especially because of Wanda in some of these places, and with him seeing him as a threat. I mean, it just gives a taste of what other places were like. You don't need to go to like a bunch of other realities in order to see just different versions or other versions of characters. At that point, I mean, that's beating a dead horse. The story did what it needed to do.
It's not beating a dead horse. It could have been, just giving a more of a glimpse of some of the other multi-universes. Like there was one 5-second clip where they went through a whole bunch of them, including like an art one. It's I would have liked to see a little bit more, multiverse jumping.
I mean, when I initially heard about the movie, I kind of wanted that mainly because I just wanted Marvel Zombie. When I didn't get that, am I disappointed? I mean, kind of. Okay, I would sort of. I wanted
I
them
have to say he rotted pretty quick after like 3 weeks.
I mean, what kind of like insects were underneath those stones? It's
Like,
like-
for real. Like,
You're good, Ash, and I'm bad, Ash. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's not that movie.
Oh, no.
What's the
Yeah,
name
that
of-
wasn't the Evil Dead. That's right.
Oh, so, I keep getting it confused. Nobody's hand got cut off, though, right? We're good on that? Excellent.
I mean,
no, that happened in
Clearly different movies.
Infinity War.
Yeah. I mean, do the handcuffs count?
Good, bad. I'm the guy with
the,
the sling ring.
the
No,
hand
wait.
being burned.
Yeah.
I mean, does that count?
I'm glad that they didn't try to show a bunch of multiversal characters. In all honesty, I feel like it would have been distracting from the story they were trying to tell, and I think that's why they didn't do it. Instead of focusing on what was happening, you and me and everybody else would have been paying more attention to all the little things that flip by and taking ourselves out of the story, and that's what that would have done. It would have just taken everybody completely out. You would.
It also would have been but she had no control over her powers. What is she gonna just keep randomly jumping through? If she doesn't know how she's triggering it. Well,
yeah, I think they did the right thing. I honestly think they did. And, for all intents and purposes, when it came to the multiverse, and quite frankly, I mean, I was glad to see pretty much every member of the Illuminati, with possibly the exception of Captain Marvel, get their asses fucking waxed, man. Like it was gratifying. It shows in some fashion somewhere in the multiverse, because certainly not in the MCU thus far, there were real fucking stakes involved. That's probably the biggest takeaway from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is, it wasn't like horrific. It wasn't that gory per se, but there were definitely multiple deaths of heroes that we have not seen on any scale comparative to that in any other Marvel movie. And that's why I thought, okay, you know what? I'll take these cameos as they are, because they got whacked. That means we're not going to see this version of these characters anymore. And it still leaves it open for other actors, other performers to come in and fulfill those roles. I don't want to see Patrick Stewart take over as Professor X again in the MCU. That's too much. The guy's 80 years old, for crying out loud. That's not fair to him.
I mean,
yeah,
he'll make it, but like he'll probably want to not be working for the next 10 to 20 years.
Hasn't the guy earned a fucking break, for crying out loud? And that's why I think it was good to have him alongside John Krasinski, because by having the two of them there and the two of them getting killed by Wanda in relatively quick and gruesome fashions, it kind of sets that precedent where it's like, oh, see, we showed you this and they're gone. And let's see what we have back in the real universe.
Wouldn't any of you like to see Dolph Lundgren walk in as a Punisher?
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd like.
He's like
to see.
90 years old.
Hanging out with Matt Salinger's Captain America.
Actually, Dolph has been doing some.
Oh,
movies
he's
recently, right?
actually he's doing a decent bit of acting lately. Yeah,
He's an Aquaman.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, I forgot about that.
$1 billion movie. Yeah, he was the king of Zebul. He was Mira's dad. Fucking red hair floating in the ocean and shit.
So I was gonna bring this up earlier. What's that, Steven?
I said he was talking about Mira, and he's red hair.
Oh, don't do it.
I said shit in understatement with Amber Heard.
So what were you gonna say, Leo?
Kids in the Hall's coming back.
Oh, nice. Ass pennies? No. Nobody knows ass pennies.
Really
okay, I thought we were going Kids in the Hall.
Have another bite and I'll tell you.
500 pounds of pudding. Oh, yeah.
That's it, girls. I'm going to the bathroom to steal some toilet paper.
So it comes to Amazon Prime, and I believe it starts next week.
Nice.
Yeah,
Are they all the still old dudes?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, same crew.
Yeah.
And still having like the fucking CEO douchebag with his sycophant little assistant played by Dave Foley and oh my God, what's the other guy's name? McKinnon? Is that it? The really tall one. But it's basically an impression of Lorne Michaels the whole time that he's doing it. White hair and everything. He's like, so telling me exactly how much money I'm going to be making this week. Wonderful. Like he's the bad guy in Brain Candy if you've ever seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like if you actually want to get a good superhero flick that does include members of Kids in the Hall in it as well, I do recommend Disney's movie Sky High from like the year 2003 or something.
Yep.
It's got a surprising number of people in it from different comedy troupes and just from throughout the years. I mean, Linda Carter plays the principal of the high school for superpowered teens. Her name is Principal Power. Friggin' Kurt Russell, a Disney kid himself, plays the father figure in it, as well as Kelly Preston plays his wife. They're a superhero team. It has Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall as teachers at the school. One a former sidekick, one a former villain. Bruce Campbell is the gym teacher in it. You got Kevin Heffernan from Broken Lizard as the bus driver. Cloris Leachman is the school nurse. You even have like Tom Kenny and someone else. I can't remember the woman's name from Mr. Show with Bob and David. Like, and it's like one of the first appearances of Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Danielle Panabaker. I mean, there's a lot of fucking. Oh, and that kid Nicholas Braun, who's in the show Succession on HBO. It was the very first thing he was ever in, back when he was like 5'10" instead of like 6'6".
Isn't Chris Maloney in it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris
From
Maloney, like,
SVU.
from Law and Order, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
Law and Order, that's another thing I just read, is getting a resurgence.
Yeah, well, I mean, they canceled it for like fucking 8 years. Like, it was over like 21 seasons, and then they're like, yeah, we're getting rid of this. Why? Why would you do that? Like, it was on every Wednesday at 10. Like,
Resident Alien brought it back.
Yeah, I love Resident Alien.
The nation's love of Jerry Orbach was thrown right back in its face.
Did we discuss the Moon Knight finale last week?
Oh no,
I can't remember. Maybe.
No.
Yes, possibly. Yeah. I think we did.
We might.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't watch the episode.
Well, that was Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have made sense if we discussed. What did it?
Yeah, we had to have spoken. We had to have.
Okay.
I was at work, so you guys.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we watched Moon Knight. And you know, it was I enjoyed the show. Yeah, we did talk about it because a couple of you guys were like, "Oh yeah, you know, the ending of that." I was like, "What?" But then they did the post credits, and I was like, "That was the ending." When you got to the post credits and you saw that, that's the end, and you were satisfied. So, job well done. I got you. Yes, we talked about it.
Well, thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I can't remember third grade now, but I can remember that. Fanrific.
I think that's about all I had. Did anybody else have anything else?
I don't. Yep.
There's I don't know if anyone has a PlayStation, but is any of the listeners or anyone on this panel, anyone pre-ordering Evil Dead the game this week, this Friday?
PlayStation 1?
The PlayStation 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
I got
it comes out for PlayStation 4? Oh man, I didn't realize.
So I can take my 3, your 1, and then we can just find one more 1 who can put it together.
Just duct tape them. That's how that works.
All right, I finally obtained a PlayStation 5, and I wanted to
just pour that salt in the wound.
I wanted to
I have one. It's
tell us
glorious.
a moment that I saw Multiverse of Madness with Sam Raimi, and the following week I'm going to play Evil Dead the game, which is very Sam Raimi heavy. So
what kind of genre of game is it? Like
horror,
well,
like
like
third person.
Yeah, but is it like online
Like-
only, where like Friday the 13th, or is it like single player?
So there's a single player element to it, but it's also similar to Friday
Dead by Daylight.
Friday 13th, the game more like. So you can take control of pretty much an Ash or characters from Ash versus Evil Dead or characters from the Evil Dead movies, not the Fede Alvarez one. But there's like characters from Army of Darkness like Henry the Red, King Arthur, and then there's even Linda and the original characters that you can take control of.
Gotta be Ashy
Battle.
Slasher.
Yeah, so you have those characters, and you're trying to survive in the woods. Then you could play as them, or you can play as the demons and try to take out the main characters, or you can play as that POV, demon trying to take out everyone.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like, I think it's supposed to be an appetizer for, well, because after Friday the 13th, the game was screwed out by the lawsuit. I think everyone was craving another horror game similar to Friday the 13th, the game, and I think Evil Dead, the game, is something that's going to satisfy everyone.
Well, I mean, that was sort of the case before Ash versus Evil Dead anyway. I mean, I had purchased and played every Evil Dead game since they had started making them for PlayStation 1. And I always looked at it as like what actually was happening after Army of Darkness. And there were some really good story ideas that came out of those games, which I was perplexed as to why they didn't try to fucking utilize any of them for Ash versus Evil Dead at all. Not a single one. But that's neither here nor there. I am curious to check this out. I don't know how long it'll be before I buy it though, because I'm trying not to buy a whole lot more games for the PlayStation 4 because I'm holding out hope to get a PlayStation 5 at some point in the near future.
I think they're supposed to be upping the production soon.
Yeah.
Hooray.
They're coming.
2 more a week.
So is fucking Thanksgiving, right? Yeah.
By the time PS6 comes out, you'll be all set.
Oh yeah.
I just got still won't
in
be
high
able to get
cotton.
By then we'll have what, GTA 5.5?
Maybe.
Christ.
I'm interested to hear what you think about it, Steven, once it comes out. But that type of game, I had Friday the 13th. I played it a couple times, and just like the online games, I don't do well at. So
yeah, I got it for free because I won a raffle at Scaricon. I win raffles all the time. It's ridiculous. I walked in, I bought a couple tickets, and I won a fucking Xbox One with Friday the 13th.
Nice.
And like signed photos from Kane Hodder and Derek Mears.
So
my friend Alex was like, "Fuck this dude. He's never even heard of this fucking thing before. He's here for 5 fucking minutes."
I just saw people lining up, and
he took a photo of me to put on his website, Broke Heart Fan, and online on like Facebook, he was like, "This fucking asshole just won an Xbox and Friday the 13th. Fuck him." I'm like, that's one of my besties right there.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing road shows. It's gonna be Yo-Yo and Brandon. You're gonna go in and buy the raffle tickets because Yo-Yo wins every friggin' raffle that.
Yeah, so we'll walk into every convention as the fucking Horseshoe Brothers because we clearly just have horseshoes up our asses.
Anybody watch the finale of Ozark?
No.
Negative. So I mean, I guess you did though. So
I did, and I had questions. I was hoping somebody else.
Oh, ask them. I would love to answer them with absolutely no context whatsoever.
I will find some answer. It won't make any sense.
They did a Sopranos ending.
So it faded to black while they played Journey's "Don't Stop Believing." Weird move, but okay.
No,
Yeah,
pretty
it
much.
was classic.
No, they fade to black. You hear a gunshot, and you don't know.
And it all took place
Oh,
inside
Dallas.
a snow globe that was owned by an autistic boy in Boston.
It was JR. Who shot JR?
It was the devil.
Well, if you get a chance, watch Ozark. It's an amazing show. But yeah, the ending had me a bit. It's definitely a thinker. It's definitely.
So is that the end of the series?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that it was finishing up.
Yep. Just finished up. Yeah. So it's
The last thing I saw with Jason Bateman in it was the
Silver Spoons?
HBO series adaptation of Stephen King's The Outsider. I read the book and then saw the show, and they did make a couple of changes, but the book is okay. The show also violently okay. Just really settled into that okay space. I came to the realization of the book while watching the show that the whole story is just it light. It's it for adults. I mean, it's about a creature that like takes on the identity of someone, like gets some kind of, touches them or whatever, and they can look like them, but then they commit like horrendous crimes that cause grief and despair throughout an entire community, and they feed on it, and then they move on and do the same thing in other towns. I mean,
I couldn't finish that show.
Yeah, what
the end of the
channel was that
fucking
on?
book, the
HBO.
female character beats the fucking thing by slamming it in the head with a sock full of fucking quarters. In the end of the book, they beat it by shooting it in the head with melted down fucking quarters. Like, it's so goddamn similar. Oh, and it all takes place like in like underground lair where the thing fucking lives. I'm like, all right, dude, I get
Away from
it.
caves and
Like,
quarters.
I just saw Evil Dead 4 under the guise of Doctor Strange. This is the same shit.
Brandon, you mentioned Stephen King, and then you mentioned like a sentence and a half later, Light. Stephen King and Light. Isn't there like a Stephen King adaptation coming out soon that involves Light, like
Firestarter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was quite the journey to that. But yes, there's going to be a remake or I prefer to say readaptation because it's not a remake of the movie. It's a readaptation of the book. That's an important distinction to make. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake. It's a readaptation. It's their version of what the story in the book is.
So they're following the book. That's where I was.
Oh yeah. I am actually very impressed with the fact that this time around they cast an actor named Michael Greyeyes as John Rainbird, the character that was played by George C. Scott in the original movie. Because the character, as written in the book specifically as well, he is Native American, and part of his culture, like his upbringing, plays a part into his psychopathy because of he likes to like watch people's eyes when he kills them. Like it's all about feeling a spiritual connection and watching them leave. Like, and George C. Scott, as amazing as an actor as that he was not really who they should have cast in the role. And the guy Michael Greyeyes who's playing him, I've seen him in the show Rutherford Falls on Peacock by Michael Schur. It's friggin' hysterical, and that's saying something for me because it stars Ed Helms, and I don't particularly like him, but the show is excellent. And this guy, I cannot wait to see how he plays the character. I'm really curious to see what they do with the whole Lot 6 drug trial that the parents were a part of, and the Shop, which is the clandestine organization that's coming after Charlie and her parents. Stephen King used the Shop in some of his earlier books and then just kind of abandoned the idea of this like clandestine government agency. So it'd be kind of nice to see if this movie does well enough, just gets enough interest to see if maybe that idea of the Shop makes a resurgence in some of Stephen King's writing. Because there have been instances in other books where there have been things that certainly seem like they would fall under that purview, but he's never outright said that it's the same thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I hope it's pretty good. Zac Efron's playing the father in this one. I'm not sure who's playing the mom. It's kind of a small role anyway. If you've seen the original movie, it's pretty much it hits the nail right on the head with how early on the mother gets taken out by the agents of the shop while looking for information. It's pretty rough. But yeah, Heather Locklear played her. David Keith was the father in the first movie. He was excellent. And they actually even kind of stole an idea from Firestarter for a character in DC Comics who became a big deal decades later. He was a guy known as Maxwell Lord. David Keith's character in the book, he had the ability that became known eventually as mental domination. If someone could hear him and understand him, then they would be compelled to do what he told them to do. But every time he used his power, he got severe nosebleeds, so he would carry around red handkerchiefs all the time. In the book, they explain that he actually made a living for a while as the head of like a diet group, and because he had like the highest success rate, every single person that came to his groups, his meetings, they ended up meeting their goals and staying at it and keeping on it even after they finished going to the meetings. He realized he was starting to get a little too well known for it, so he would shift, where he worked every so often. In the comic books, Maxwell Lord, he was like a used car salesman who got exposed to some stuff. He ends up with the same power and the same downside, nosebleeds, and would carry around red handkerchiefs. He ends up becoming the government liaison for Justice League of America, but not the cool Justice League of America, the one that had like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and Fire and Ice and Guy Gardner and stuff. And he basically, it turns out over the years, they kind of retconned it. He purposely turned that Justice League into a joke because he was part of an organization known as Checkmate that was working on taking down the superhero community. And it ended up becoming a big deal. He finally had like his huge like throwdown moment, and his Pyrrhic victory was exposing superhumans for the danger they were by getting Wonder Woman so mad that she broke his fucking neck so severely that she spun his head around. But he broadcast it live across the world so everyone got to see exactly how dangerous and violent Wonder Woman was. And this was like a character that had been around for 25 years. It was brutal, and he's been a huge pain in the side. And they really fucked his character up in Wonder Woman 1984.
Yes, they did.
They didn't do him any justice, but he was directly inspired by Stephen King's character in Firestarter.
Does Pluther have The Outsider? Because Tracy and I watched the first season, and then we never. I think
there is only one season.
That's it.
Yeah, that was the book, and they were talking about doing a second season, but then HBO, just like everybody else, was like, "Why?"
Oh, because okay, that's weird. Then it ended stupid. Like we watched the fourth season of Good Girls. And it ended, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till the next season to find out where this is going. Oh, wait, that was it? Oh, well, that's stupid. So
I mean, everything that they showed in The Outsider.
On a stupid freaking, like, it's like, oh, sorry, we got canceled. Well, that's dumb.
Well, actually, she chose to end the Good Girls thing, like twice, I think.
Wow.
The Outsider, they gave it like a somewhat open end in case HBO wanted to keep going, but HBO's view of it was you literally just told the book. Like everything that happens in the first season is the entirety of the book, The Outsider. So why go past that? Like you're just going to start making shit up and it's going to seem disingenuous. There's a certain point where you get past, oh, this is definitely something that Stephen King created, and get into, oh, this is definitely something that somebody thinks Stephen King would write. And that's where you start to get muddied waters. There's very few people that can work that area correctly. And like, usually those people that can do it are your Frank Darabont's, your Mike Flanagan's, and your Rob Reiner's. And past that, good luck.
Yeah, what he said. Go ahead, Leo. I can see you.
Yeah, no, we should start wrapping things up shortly, but just real quick, Flash, the movie.
He saved every one of us. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What I don't understand is at the beginning of the fucking movie Flash Gordon, right? If Ming the Merciless has never been to Earth before, never even heard of a planet called Earth, why does the fucking button on his dashboard say earthquake?
Earth.
It doesn't make sense.
It does if you read the script because it's in the script.
Does it? Oh, I'm sure there was a lot of sensible stuff in that script. I mean, like sensible stuff, I mean baggies of cocaine.
There is one thing we didn't talk anything about: the Avatar trailer.
Strange New World.
Oh my god.
What was it?
Which one?
Yeah, that Smurf sequel looks intense.
Oh, Avatar.
Who gives a shit about that?
So, no, I have a serious question.
Yeah, go for it.
Why in the world did this creature evolve to kind of look like a goose until it got fully out of the water? Are there geese on this planet? Because that's the only way that makes sense. Why haven't we seen geese on this planet?
No,
I'm gonna go one further for you, Yo-Yo. Is there actually anything of interest on this planet? Because why the fuck do we want to see a sequel? Like,
I'm gonna go one further to piggyback off Brandon's the last thing he just said. So there's a 7-year gap between Terminator and Terminator 2, which Terminator 2 is probably one of the greatest sci-fi sequels of all time. Directed by James Cameron, there is a 6-year gap between Alien and Aliens, again, directed by James Cameron, another great sci-fi sequel. There's a 13-year fucking gap between Avatar and Avatar 2. Yes, COVID got in the way. Yes, he's a little salty about Avengers and Titanic Titanic and Avatar being dethroned by Avengers. Yes, he's trying to search for himself.
He seemed okay with that.
But
yeah,
whatever.
I don't think he is. I think that's a lot of editorialization right there.
Yeah, so I don't think...
Okay.
Sorry, I'll let you speak in a minute.
That's good.
Sorry.
Tomorrow.
I don't think Avatar sequel is warranted.
Yeah.
But how the fuck would creature? It had to know what the fuck a goose is for this to make any goddamn sense. If it doesn't know what a goose is, why the fuck would you evolve to look like that? It makes no goddamn sense.
It's Avatar 2 on Golden Pond. But the thing
I saw that, and I'm
dumb
like,
is
why
James Cameron makes a sequel to Avatar, but not his biggest movie of all time, Titanic.
I just don't think
Because
I
everyone
care.
fucking died in Titanic. If he made it,
I honestly don't care, but I had to bring up that thing.
Then it would make sense.
Like, it boggles my mind the thought process of making that creature. Like, other than it would look cool in the trailer. Like, it makes no sense biologically. Unless there's geese on this planet, that it would. And are geese something to be feared on this planet? That it's camouflage. Like,
fear everything on
I think
Pandora.
they probably just did it to get your goose.
Oh,
so you know they can.
I've been.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, they can actually have a Titanic sequel because you got to tell what happened when it rose and then ended up in Ghostbusters 2.
I mean, I think you just told the story. There you go. That was
Also,
it right there. It rose and.
I mean, this means we get to watch Ghostbusters 2 again. So I mean,
to continue the gap with James Cameron, there's an 8-year gap between Piranha and Piranha 2: The Spawning, which
okay.
Yeah, so
I think the Avatar thing will be cleared up in season 2 of Boba Fett.
My feelings on Avatar 2 can be best described as wildly ambivalent. Okay, like I cannot think honestly of a single person outside of James Cameron that truly cares about this movie coming out. I mean, it's fucking crazy to say too, but watching the trailer, maybe it was just me, and I haven't watched Avatar in a long time because I don't really fucking need to.
I have never watched Avatar.
Did it seem like
I didn't care.
the characters on the screen in the trailer, like they looked more like video game cutscene characters than than like actual mocap characters like they were in the first movie.
I think I mentioned that when we were chatting this weekend. Yeah, the whole thing looked like it was some big CGI fest of a video game.
Yeah, like what is this? The Legend of Mana 5, for Christ's sake? I'm good, man. Like,
yeah, no.
Listen, the first movie was a very like if you know sci-fi at all, the first movie Avatar was very much a thinly veiled adaptation, I'll say, of a Warlord of Mars. No, John Carter, through and through. I mean, it's so much the same exact story, which is one of the most oft repeated stories in science fiction over the past century. Anyway, Edgar Rice Burroughs really set like a pretty hard precedent on that type. But I mean, he didn't even fucking trade out the placeholder names in that fucking movie. Unobtainium is a placeholder name, and he literally fucking kept that in the script. They said that word on screen numerous times. I was like, that's not a thing. That's a thing you say while you're waiting to figure out the actual thing you're gonna fucking say. You don't name an element unobtainium. That's fucking stupid. It's a scientific term for unknown elements. They wouldn't name a new element that because then they would have no term to describe the other unknown element. Like in hypothetical situations, it's so fucking
Unobtainium
dense.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well,
Unobtainium 2, The Search for More Money.
All right.
For anyone that's seen the movie The Core, unobtainium is mentioned because someone created a new element to help create the ship for them to go down into the core, and they call it unobtainium.
So stupid.
Took 22 years to get a sequel to The Core.
Did it? Did it really?
So Avatar 2, yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah. I yo and
that's literally the only thing I got out of that trailer. Just saying that was weird as fuck because I'm like, this makes no sense as far as like an evolutionary like imperative goes to look like this unless there's geese.
Yeah, they're like, oh, why the hell are we the original geese? Cast back for the first movie? It's like, yeah, what were they doing?
Yeah.
Hey, how about the new profile picture app that's sweeping the freaking nation right now? You can like freaking take a picture of yourself and make yourself a cartoon character. Yes,
I like how you're saying that. You're saying it like kind of mockingly, but you're the first person whose picture I saw using it on Facebook.
Out of 100 fucking pictures he used.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Who'd
in
you
case
get for
you
a
guys
character?
didn't know about it. So you
No,
it
changes. It makes your photo look like an illustration.
I'm not feeding any
like a watercolor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
I saw somebody do it, but they had a picture of Family Guy.
I will draw it myself. I am not feeding any algorithm any kind of picture of me so they can later on.
Yeah, that's my thing too. I'm like, I'm good.
Russia and China secretly mine and hack you while you do it.
Yeah, it's like those fun games online, like, hey, what's your favorite color? What was the first car you owned? And then 5 minutes later, like, hey, how did somebody figure out the security questions to my fucking bank account?
Pretty good. That looks good, RW.
That's because I'm the dude, man. That's what you call me, the dude, or El Dudo, or Duderino, or whatever.
Really pull the room.
Put that on the rug.
So Flash is
he say
okay, yeah. So the Flash movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's going on with the Flash? Is that actually
okay?
a thing?
So Flash is actually been shown in front of test audiences, and so far reports are okay.
Overwhelmingly positive, yeah.
Hold on, okay or positive?
Positive.
Yeah.
They're positive. Yeah. Leo was underselling it. Like what I actually read about it was overwhelmingly positive.
You noticed
People
that,
have been
huh?
responding
I didn't
well
want to oversell it. I didn't want to.
Yeah, the one time you don't want to oversell something, Leo.
Leo,
Like, dude, it was a Serbian film, Leo. There's nothing to like.
Wow.
Moment.
Holy shit.
Illustrating a point. That's all.
No, I know. Last item, George Carlin is there's
yeah, we know.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah, that's sad.
Oh.
He passed. Huh?
No, documentary coming out on HBO.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You ever noticed how your shit is stuff and other people's stuff shit?
You know what I always like to say?
It's one of his. I'm sorry.
Ratchet, batshit, dirty old twat, 69 assholes tied in a knot. Hooray, lizard shit. Fuck!
Wonderful.
Well,
Yeah.
Leo, before back to the Flash, I want to ask you one question before we close.
We are closing?
We're closing?
When you were reading stuff about the Flash,
I'm here all night.
did you hear anything about the ending? Did they change Ezra Miller's character at the end?
No, this was just for test audiences. So
that's all. That's all inquiring.
Yeah,
minds
listen,
want.
that's a lot of speculation on people who want Ezra Miller like replaced as the Flash.
Oh no, I don't want to replace. I was just curious.
No, I wasn't. I didn't say you. I said that speculation from people who want Ezra Miller replaced, and it's like I honestly
lock him up.
I think Ezra Miller needs help.
I think he needs a little vacay. Not to Hawaii though.
No, that's why I was curious about
I think honestly, like he probably has a drinking problem coupled with a mental health issue, and one most certainly affects the other, and both of them need to be addressed. I'm not trying to excuse
And not enough
anything.
people around him to say, "Hey,
exactly." No. Too many yes people around him, and no one that genuinely cares enough to say, like, "Hey, man,
let's
you need
chill."
to go to this place, not for anybody else, but like for you. You need to be okay for you, man." I don't think he has anyone on his side in his corner for that, and it's like I said, it's not excusing his behavior by any stretch of the imagination. It's just when you see stuff like this happen and it's in such quick succession, I mean, there's clearly issues at play there, and it's not something that's just like you could brush off as, coincidence or incidental. Like, nah, man, you're the common factor. What's going on? Like, what is happening there? And until that occurs where he comes to a realization, because honestly, the only time people can truly get help is when they themselves recognize it. Until he gets to that point,
amen, sister.
We're gonna see a lot of shit from him like this, and a lot of calls for him to like not be involved in things. And he is a talented actor, and I do think that he needs to get his shit together and then come back, take a break, for real. Like, go get yourself well and build good habits, and hopefully the people that were in your corner when you were cranking out solid hits and blockbusters will still be there when you come back, and allow you to continue to do the same thing. Take a page out of Colin Farrell's book. Disappear, go home, get yourself right, start doing smaller independent things, and start establishing yourself as a real, true performer, and everything will come back to you the way that you wanted it to be initially, instead of blowing up and just being all over the place. That's a lot of pressure, and I don't think he has the means personally or around him to be able to deal with that, both internally and externally. That's just my 2 cents.
And then you come back to play Penguin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who would have thought that Colin Farrell would have been so talented that you could actually see him disappear into a character like that? Like, even as the makeup is being applied, like, it's fucking eerie to watch.
They could have just got Richard Kind. He already looked exactly like what fucking they did all this makeup on this fucking jackass to be the Penguin, when they could have gotten somebody.
Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie?
No, I told you I don't.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Maybe they should lock.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Where'd he go?
He left.
RW.
RW.
He was taking it personally. That's not how it was meant.
Well, we should
I'll
wrap
throw
things
the
up.
70s comic up for him. Hold on.
But I mean, Richard Kind would have been a fantastic pick for Penguin, absolutely. But once again, I think that they were trying to go with somebody who could play the role over a course of a long time. And Richard Kind is up there in age, whereas if you take someone,
getting
in
3
good shape
films
like
out of
Colin
this.
Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
and a
around for a
series,
good
yeah.
stretch of time. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, RW, I was just joking around. So
I love
sorry,
you,
man.
Randy.
Yes, come back, please. Just jokes, man.
And with
But
that,
yeah, with that,
Well, we'll wrap things up, and for RW, you can definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Tons of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And yeah, with that, Jar Jar.
follow me on Facebook, Jeremy Courtney, and check out Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction.
Awesome.
Also on Facebook.
Oh, yo.
Yo St. Laurent on Instagram. That's pretty much the only place I'm doing anything.
Hey, Steven.
So you can find my podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us exclusively on the Dorkening Podcast Network and all major podcasts and distributors. We have a second show, CSI The Vegas Files, also on all those places, except the socials, just Twitter only. We have a Patreon. I'm here every Wednesday, in case if I'm not working. Past couple times I was working, I wasn't here. And starting on Sunday, and you will see this plugged every Wednesday going forward until June 5th.
Sunday.
the priest from the east versus the thunder from down under.
You can pay for the whole
Today,
season. You'll only need the end.
go to contests and go to the Best of Reader's Choice Awards and go to Arts and Entertainment, go to local podcast hosts. You'll see Super Retro Throwback Reviews. Hit vote. So yeah.
Send me the link.
We will.
Day.com.
It goes live on Sunday, so I'll send everyone.
I'll share it around everywhere I can.
Sounds good. Brandon.
Hey everyone, if you want to come over and check out the Powers Combined Facebook group, just a group of dorks that we get together, share memes, info, good times and laughs to be had by all. Our number one rule is don't be a jerk. If you break that, you will be booted out immediately. You can check me out on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. I'm here pretty much every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Dorkening Podcast Wednesday night show. And I am also going to be appearing on the Dork Night bi-weekly with Leo Pond and Justin Cooper, where we discuss all things Batman, as well as Comics Paradox, also a bi-weekly podcast coming out, switching off every other week with the Dork Night, also with Leo Pond and Justin Cooper, where we discuss alternate reality tales such as What Ifs, Elseworlds, different story arcs such as Age of Apocalypse or Amalgam Comics, things along those lines. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled and your ears open and check it all out.
There we go. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.